You have understood these things? Is it clear? At this stage, is it clear? Some clarity dawning? Now, follow the next step very carefully. The awareness in which this understanding is coming, that awareness, does it have those tendencies, desires, or wrong understanding? No. That awareness is free of this. Proof. When you have a desire for cookies, you are aware of the desire for cookies. You don't have a desire for cookies all day long. When you don't have a desire for cookies, the awareness is still there, no desire. So the awareness is there. Awareness by that I mean consciousness. You, the consciousness, you, the awareness are there when the desire is there. You, the awareness or consciousness, you are there when the desire is not there. Proving thereby you, the awareness, are free of that desire. It arises in your light, it disappears in your light. Now, what Krishna says, answer the question, who are you? Are you the senses? Are you the mind? Are you the intellect? Or are you this awareness? You will say, I am that awareness. The senses and the mind and the intellect are instruments which I use. Having stepped back into that awareness, it becomes much easier to deal with the intellect, mind and senses. Being in the middle of that, I want and I don't want, you're in the mind. It becomes difficult. He says, this is much easier. This is the methodical way to go about it. If I am the awareness, does awareness or consciousness need a cookie? If you see a tongue, does the tongue need a cookie? You might say, yeah, the tongue needs a cookie. The tongue wants the cookie. But does consciousness, pure consciousness, need a cookie? No, it does not. If I am pure consciousness, as pure consciousness, I would be least bothered whether I have a cookie or not. Right? Okay. So this is the clue. But I will go on to one or two more questions before we end.